What is something we all have in common? We love a story that sparks something deep inside and opens up our world a little bit more. Oftentimes, these stories are projected onto a wall or screen to give us perspective in the shape of a movie. But sometimes it can be a little bit more than just a movie. It can be an experience we show value by ranking on a scale. The higher the scale, the more stars we see, sending us to the 5 stars. Okay, that was cheesy. That was a little cheesy.
I like it though.
Thank you. That brings me into well, hello and welcome. Welcome to the podcast. As you heard just talking right now, I am joined by special guest Honesty. Honesty, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Hey, good to hear. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It's Sunday, but I haven't I was watching football a little bit earlier, but the Packers game t is tonight, so I'm excited to see that game. You watching football today?
No.
No. Hey, but you had some good breakfast I heard earlier.
Sure did.
Hey. All right, so welcome to the podcast, Honesty. I just want to get to know you a little bit before we dive into your 5 star movie today that you wanted to talk about. Which I last episode, the first episode, it was my friend Zach Wright, and he chose Interstellar, which that's easy to convince someone is a 5 star movie because that's a great movie. And with your choice today, again, another great movie. But I'm just interested to hear your take because you love this movie. Like you were hyping it up. You said you went, how many times did you go watch this movie in theaters?
About like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. Dang. Okay, so I'm hyped to see like what you saw in this movie. But before we get to that, what do movies mean to you?
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's just nice to like sit down and relax. I'm super busy all the time, so like sitting down for I don't know 2 hours where you forget everything, you have to turn your phone off. Like it's really nice to just be like encased in something for 2 hours. You can't contact anybody. I mean, you can if you needed to, but like to just sit there and relax and watch something is really cool.
Hmm. It's almost like it sometimes transports you to like another location.
Hmm.
But do you remember what movie that you like a movie that you first saw that kind of just grabbed you into this like new world?
Um, Probably Oculus. That was the first one. I watched that when I was like 10 years old. I mean, I started watching horror movies when I was like 3 or 4, and that was pretty cool. Because I had a lot of siblings, so like I would just sit down and watch movies or whatever, and they would do whatever they wanted. But
Mhm.
Oculus, when I was like 10 or something, it was like insane the amount of detail and plot twists and stuff like that. And that was the first one I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like these movies. Like, I don't know, it's something different than what you see every day.
Right. Okay, so you were pulled in by the horror genre specifically that pulled you into film.
Hmm.
Okay. That's funny because I was also like growing up, my nana used to when I would go spend the night at her house every Friday we'd go to Blockbuster and she'd let me rent a horror movie and I don't know if my parents would approve of that, but I always thought she was so cool for doing that. So I can understand like bonding with horror movies and these like interesting concepts that we probably think, but in our head we're like, oh, that's dumb. And then we see a movie about it and you're like, oh, hey, there we go. Let's see how they do.
Hmm. Yeah.
And usually horror is the kind of one to push that like genre bending stuff. All right, but so that was the movie that stuck with you from your childhood, Oculus, and you said you saw that when you were 10?
I think it was when I don't know when it came out, but when it came out, I think I was around 10 years old. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, random question. If you were stuck in space, which 3 movies would you bring with you to watch over and over and over and over again?
Oh man. Sinners for sure.
Okay.
And probably The Hate You Give. That's a really good one too. And then,
What is that? I've heard of that one, but I don't remember what that is.
so it's a movie about basically like police brutality. This kid gets shot while he's holding like a hairbrush or whatever, and it's just
Hmm.
like a whole immersive thing into Black culture and like what Black people have to go through in America and stuff like that. but it's really like it makes me cry every time I watch it, probably like three or four times throughout the movie, just because I relate to it so much. And
Hmm.
um, but so that one's really good. And then the third one, I guess, would probably be Oculus if I had to choose,
Oculus.
or any Freddy Krueger movie.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Freddy Krueger, have you checked out Black Phone 2 yet?
I have not. I'm
No.
kind of iffy about it only because like I feel like they're kind of reaching, like they didn't really know what to do for the second movie, but they had to make a second movie. So from my perspective, I feel like they're reaching a little bit where they should have just, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I can understand that because when I first like saw the trailer, I was like, okay, what the heck is this? Now we got like this is literally like Freddy Freddy Krueger. And
Hmm.
then I've watched Black Phone for the first time last week, and I loved it because it to me it was like a minimalistic kind of horror movie without the use of like supernatural elements, even though you do technically get supernatural elements, but you can just like spatter those kids up in like white paint and then boom, they're like ghosts. It's so like
Hmm.
practical, the whole movie. And so did you like the first one?
I love the first one. That's why I'm like kind of hesitant about the second one because I don't know. It's just a completely like a left field idea. It might be good. I'm sure it's good because it's Black Phone. Black Phone, the first one was really good. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It might be good. I might need to get off my high horse about it, but
No, I
yeah.
mean I understand like what you were talking about because it was brand, especially after the ending of the first one. I don't think anyone ever expected another movie related to it unless it was like a prequel about how the grabber became a grabber, the grabber.
Hmm.
But I thought it was pretty solid. I thought so. It seems like people are comparing it to Black Phone. They're saying it's either better or it's way worse. I thought it was like equally as good. Like it wasn't better, it wasn't worse. So I thought it hit that good middle point for me. But okay. So you would have Sinners, The Hate You Give, and Oculus if you were stuck in space. Do you
Hmm.
have another random question for you? Do you have a movie so bad like one of those guilty pleasure movies where it's so bad it's good that you always like put it at the top of your list that other people would be like, "What the heck? Why is that one of your top movies?"
Um, I don't know. Probably Roll Down or what is it? Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay.
I forgot. I just watched it the other day. It's on Hulu. Um, I think it's like Roll Bounce, but I just want to make sure I got the name right.
Roll Pounds. That sounds familiar. Oh, with Nick, Bow Wow and Nick Cannon.
Yes. Yep.
Is it like a disco skating movie?
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I don't know, it's really funny and cheesy, and Paul Wesley is in it. Um, which is insane. Like you watch that movie and then you go watch Vampire Diaries and it will never be the same to you.
Roll Bounce. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. I've heard it, and then now seeing the poster, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've never seen this poster before in my life.
It has Bow Wow, Zero from Foles is in it,
Oh, okay.
Paul Wesley, Nick Cannon, like a lot of like not big name people, but big name back then people were in it.
Right. Okay. I have to check that out. Roll Bounce. I forgot what Zach's was, but I think Zach had a very interesting one too. I think his was Pirates of the Caribbean, which that like
Oh
looking
my
back on
gosh.
that, I thought that was a surprisingly good movie. Like I went going into that movie thinking like, oh, this is gonna suck. Like all these live action movies from a cartoon or from a anime or from a TV show usually suck, and it was a very good movie. It's
Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched it. It never like drew my attention.
What?
Yeah.
It it did kind of go off on a I think there's like six or seven of them at this point, but it had like a cool concept originally. Like I think the first and then it was what's his name? Johnny Depp was notorious for being known as Jack Sparrow after that movie came out.
Hmm.
But my last question before we dive into your five-star movie, when ranking movies, what do five stars mean to you and how do you rank a movie?
Oh, I don't think any movie other than The Hate You Give, Sinners, and Oculus has ever earned 5 stars from me. But as far as ratings go, I feel like if I enjoyed the movie or like if I was like shocked or if if it didn't make me happy or it didn't give me that like wow factor, then anything else is like I don't know, 4 stars or below. So it's really
Mm,
hard for me to get a 5 star because it's I don't know. It has to like grab my attention for me to give
right.
it 5 stars.
Is that, can it be like one of those movies that you were leaving the theater thinking like, okay, I'm confused. I need to research more about this? Or can you only have a 5 star movie if you're leaving thinking like, okay, that was amazing?
Kind of both. Like I wanna if it leaves me wondering some things and I feel like sometimes it's not a 5 star because I feel like most of the things should be answered because
Hmm.
then you have to wait X amount of years, X amount of months to find out what the answer is unless the producer comes out with like a Q&A or whatever. But um there are sometimes like with Sinners I left wondering some things, but for the most part like I want to be able to walk away and talk to Jonathan about it and be like, oh wow, like that was really cool when this happened, or tell everybody about how amazing it was. So,
Hmm. And that movie specifically too, Ryan Coogler did such a good job of just like adding in so many different elements that there were TikToks, there were shorts, there were reels coming out, just fun facts from that movie that I did not see at all, and it kind of made that movie more like enjoyable to me because it's like, oh wow, this director like went all out. Even these things that we're not even paying attention to are very symbolic and meaningful in his eyes.
mhm, I agree.
Yeah, but that's so that is just going to be the beginning portion. We're going to dive into the 5 star portion right now. So without further ado, you've mentioned it a couple of times, but what is your 5 star movie that we're going to talk about today?
Sinners.
Sinners. Sinners came out in 2025. It was directed by Ryan Coogler, who is most famously known for Black Panther and Black Panther. I think he did Black Panther 2, pretty sure. But he's also did Apollo, and he's worked with Michael B. Jordan numerous times, including one of his earlier movies in Fruitvale Station. So Ryan Coogler back on the board with a horror movie that does this movie remind you of any other horror movies?
I can't say it does. I don't know. To me, it's not even really a horror movie, but that's just because I love vampires.
Hmm. Yeah, like for me too. I feel like there were maybe one or two little jump scares, but it felt like just you versus them, just questioning everyone because it's clearly no one in this world can be trusted. Like there you have the vampire that's trying to manipulate them to let him in or them to come outside. You have the white people in the beginning selling him that the brothers the Barnes so they can come back later. It's just everything is so untruthful in this movie, and I think that makes it so much better.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It was just it was cool to see like this movie come out of nowhere. But okay, it is your 5 star movie. Do you remember the first time you watched this movie? And if you can, paint a picture for us.
Oh, um, so I have this like AMC subs thing where you can go and see a movie for one movie or 3 or 4 movies a week for free.
Hmm.
And that week me and my husband John were like kind of out of ideas on what to do, so we kind of just looked up all the things. And I saw trailers for this movie, but I kind of like shrugged it off because I didn't really grasp the entire concept of the movie, and I knew that there was like a supernatural element to it, but I didn't know what it was. So I was like, okay, sure, like we'll watch it because I love watching movies in IMAX. So we went to the IMAX. I sat down and watched it, and within like I don't know 5 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, this is a good one. And when you watch it in IMAX, you can feel the vibration of the sound.
Mm.
So that really got me. But it was just like a really ordinary day. We were just looking for something to do, and we went to go see the movie, and it was one of the best decisions I made because I've watched it so many times since then.
Hey. Yeah, no, I'm sad that I wasn't able to watch it in IMAX because even watching some videos yesterday just about the creation of this movie, they used IMAX cameras in
Hmm.
this film. and they changed aspect ratios on certain scenes. I think one of the first ones is when the main vampire falls out into the frame, it suddenly widens up. And that I think that would have been amazing just to be able to experience in IMAX. So I'm kind of kicking myself for that one. But I am glad that your first viewing of this movie was in IMAX. Do you remember like what specific feelings you had after like you were walking out of the theater?
Oh, I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to seem cheesy or anything about it, but I was like and completely just like mesmerized by everything about like I have geeked so hard about this movie. It was just so like I don't know, to see a movie that was so like it encased everything about like black culture in one tiny movie. I mean, not tiny movie, but in like one time frame of a movie. Like it was insane that you could feel so many things about what black people went through back then and the culture and just the vibe from back then. It was cool.
Hmm. And yeah, even that scene specifically where they were um singing and dancing and it brought back the old spirits and spirits from the future. Just seeing your ancestors or just their ancestors and your family and blood bonding with you over the same thing. That was really cool to see in theaters.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler just he has a knack for these kind of things, and him and Jordan Peele, amazing directors that they had their specific styles. And I thought he did really good on this one. This is his first horror movie too, so I was surprised to see what he was going to come out with. And again, it doesn't feel like a horror movie. Would you say it feels more like fantasy than horror?
Yeah, probably, or like thriller maybe. Like there was definitely times where my heart was racing because I was like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen next?" But it because I've been watching horror movies since I was like 3 or 4. My
Right.
idea of horror movies is like I'm scared to move. I'm scared to like even look away from the screen because I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, that definitely had that effect through the movie, but it wasn't like my heart wasn't racing as much as watching Oculus for the first time.
Right. Okay. Would you say it was like the story that kept you kind of enthralled into it, like heart beating for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did have a pretty good story, and it did a really good job of showing the other characters' perspectives briefly, and you even though someone get short screen time, you get to know them by the end when it's time for them all to fight against the vampires outside. But speaking of feelings, did this film have any emotional ties for you? I would actually like to know your which scene was like the most emotional for you, and this can be a good emotion or a bad emotion.
Um, Probably well, there's a few of them, but the main one is kind of like when they're like towards the end of the movie when you see them setting up the juke joint. It reminded me a lot of when I was growing up and like we'd have barbecues every 4th of July. And it was like in this big open space that was delegated for events, for holidays and stuff like this in Northport. And it's just a lot of people, but like my family, my uncle mainly, he knew like everybody. So like people would come over, you would hang out with them, like talk to them, everyone would help set up, and that part of the movie kind of just like hit home, I guess, because I don't we don't really do barbecues like that anymore. Everyone's grown up, everyone, the people, the kids that everyone brought to the family outings have grown up and separated and stuff like that. But that one thing of like everyone hanging out, everyone helping set up and stuff like that part of the movie really resonated, and it brought me back to when I was a kid and everyone would hang out and talk and get ready for this barbecue for the 4th of July.
Hmm. Okay, so it brought back really memorable feelings and memories from your childhood of getting together as a family and just combining in peace and love.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool because I didn't even take that perspective on that. But I did enjoy seeing everyone come together and they had this common goal of making this thing appear at night, and they did it. It was there at night in their good times. It was amazing, and I think the dude said at the end of the post-credit scene that that night was the best night of his life, and that was, I mean, that if that was your night. Would you be okay with that being your last night of your life if you were living in this movie?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like to me that would probably be the way to go out, honestly. Like it seemed fun, it seemed chill, and it was so much going on and so much togetherness. And I love music, so all the music and stuff, like that's honestly, if I died fighting a vampire, if that were even the thing that were real, um, that I mean, I'd be cool with that.
And a lot of people in that movie hated that that one lady let the vampires in. Do you think she's a villain or you think she was justified?
No, 100% justified. I mean, at first, when I was watching the movie and that part happened, I was like, "Oh, you like I was so mad because I was like, they got all this information. You know that you can't invite them in unless you want stuff to happen or whatever. So, like, you knew all this, but then, like, when I watched it since then, and I was like, if anyone like threatened my cats, like, I mean, I don't have kids, so like, if anyone threatened my cats, like, I am ride or die for those ones. So, like, if you were like, oh, I'm gonna go hurt your cat if you don't come out, I mean, all right, bet. Come on in then. Let's do it. So I don't know. I understand why she did what she did. When I was first watching it, I was like, are you kidding me?
Right. I think I was too. Because yeah, it's justified. It's her daughter, like especially since he threatens her and her daughter because now he has the memories of her husband.
Hmm.
I can understand where she's coming from there. I thought she was kind of selfish by saying like inviting them in with everyone else inside, but at the same time, they were not going to let her like get out of their sight or do anything else, so she did what she had to do.
Hmm.
And it unfortunately ended with her killing her husband as they both got incinerated by fire. But but visually speaking, what is your favorite shot scene in this movie and why?
Oh, visually, probably um when at the end when he like has that guitar in his face and he's going up in smoke or whatever as the sun
Mhm.
is coming up. Probably
Mhm.
that. Like it looked really cool. I think the effects were really cool on that. Also, if I had a second one, would probably be the introduction area when like they were passing the cigarette because I thought that was cool. Like I was like they had to do something real cool to get that, and then I find out that they had to take that probably like 500 times.
Yeah, to like first get one of their movements and then the other one and then tape over that and this yeah, there was a lot more that went into this than expected, but it looked great.
Hmm.
I don't remember like looking at a scene and thinking, "Oh wow, you can tell this is him just spliced onto the other side." So kudos to Michael B. Jordan for doing that because Robert Pattinson did it earlier in the year with Mickey 17, but that movie did not get anywhere near the popularity of this movie. So kudos to Michael B. Jordan for being able to pull off the brother thing. And then each brother had a different personality too. So that was cool to see.
And I think each brother had a different like facial hair too.
Oh, did
Like
they?
I believe like their beard was different too. So
Oh.
you had to shoot like in my understanding, you had to shoot like one, I guess, a different day than the other and put them together. So that was cool.
But speaking of, I mentioned earlier, like that was the greatest night of their lives. Would it be the greatest night of your life? But I want to get back into that. Would you want to live in this world that is the world of sinners?
I mean, not after it happened, only because like there's this great thing that just happened, and then it's also the worst thing that just happened. And I do wonder, like, what happened to Sammy after. Like, you see the like end credit, but I wonder how that affected him in his everyday life after that. Um, because everyone that he knows is just gone. Like, he can't talk to his uncle, or not his uncle, his cousins anymore. He can't
Hmm.
like I mean the other one is still alive with forgot her name. but the one who played
Haley Steinfeld.
by yeah, by her, um, like they're still alive somewhere, but he can't talk to them because they told what's his face that they would go away. So it I don't know, like I feel like it'd be cool to be a part of that night, but after that night, I wouldn't really want to be a part of that because he had to like leave the church, and from my understanding, he left his family to go play music. Maybe he had the time of his life. I don't know,
Right.
but from what I know, I know I would not want to be a part of that.
Yeah. Even in the like the other aspects of this movie, I was thinking like I would not like it'd be cool to be at the party when it was happening, but also yeah, interestingness to wonder how his life went after that. I'm sure it definitely added to the soulfulness of his singing because he was probably singing even more so from his heart because of his pain from his like past experiences. So that'd be interesting to think about. But I have an odd question for you. If you had to define this movie with a certain smell, what smell would that be?
Oh man, I know it was ripe up in there. I know, like they it was like the 1930s or something. They
hmm
didn't have like I don't know. From my understanding, they did not have access 100% to like clean water to go take a shower. Like you
Oh,
saw him and like dip into a little barrel of water that she was like
yeah.
washing their clothes in. Like there's no way that they had like showers or anything. They probably had to like bathe probably 2 or 3 times a week, and
Mm.
then they were out in the sun and like the BO of that place
Yeah.
got to be off the charts.
No,
So
for reals.
but you like they were also probably used to it, so like they were probably like nose blind, and then you got the food in there, so maybe it might smell good if you were part of that like era. You might just not notice the BO or the smell of people.
Right, because you haven't had any different.
Yeah,
And it's funny, I'm thinking like maybe that's why they wanted to get drunk is because they all they do is smell each other.
yeah. Well, somebody I saw TikTok about like the vampires didn't sense Sammy; they could smell it from the freaking building, and I don't know. I feel like that's not that far stretch. Like all those people in one building, you got to smell something.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even, it's funny. I never even thought about this, but now here we are thinking about the smells of I'm over here thinking like, oh, it probably smells like alcohol, like just moonshine and rum and all this stuff, and completely forgot about the BO part. Because yeah, always in these movies too, when someone's sweating, it looks so much worse than it is, and I think it is subtly that concept of like, oh, you can't just throw that into the washing machine afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, oh, so out in Florida back in the day would probably suck.
Yeah, and I think they filmed it in, I don't know. I think it took place in Mississippi and they filmed it in something else, somewhere else, but it was one of the hot states. So,
Hmm.
it's hot.
So they got okay, so they actually probably were legitimately sweating.
Yeah, and even like on the set, could you imagine like oh, they were moving, like they were working for that money. So,
Yeah, for sure.
oh,
And
I don't know. I'm such a like a scent person. Like I have a very, very strong nose. So me, like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that set because they worked real hard. So I mean, yeah, they can go take a shower now. Like that's great. But um like Michael Jordan had to do like a lot of takes on that one thing and that's hot like heat and I don't know.
which scene was that?
The the cigarette passing scene, like he had to do that like
Oh,
5 times in the hot, like really, really hot heat. Like I couldn't imagine. And he was like all suited up too.
yeah, and I think there were like around a whole bunch of vegetation, so that probably helped the humidity and just bugs and oh,
Mm-hmm.
it was hot.
Right.
But speaking of hot, was this movie an immediate banger to you, or did it grow on you over time?
Immediate,
Immediate?
instant.
Oh, so you came out of the theater thinking this is a 10 out of 10 for me?
Yeah, 100%. I was like, dang. And like you poor Jonathan. Like I've talked about that movie so much. And like I immediately found Pale Pale Moon on Apple Music and listened to it like every day for like 2 or 3 weeks, and he got so sick of it.
Yeah, there were I remember them being some very catchy songs in that movie. Even the Pick Poor Johnny Clean, I'm like, as much as I hate to admit, that song was very catchy in the movie. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh. Can we talk about that for a second?
yeah,
That that song, when I heard it, so like a lot of people, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I was like, to me, I thought he was like talking about black people and like slaves, like, because a lot of people don't know this. Maybe it's something that you have to like cut from your thing, but they used to eat slaves. Like, I don't
oh,
know, it was some like weird thing, but like when they were talking about like pick poor uh Robin Clean,
yeah, I think it was
um,
Robin.
I was like, this man is not on their doorstep. They like talk. I was so angry with that song when it started playing. I was like, nah, there's no way that they're singing this right to these black people's faces right now. Um, but I guess it was just meant to be like a weird song. But to me, I knowing the information that I have, I thought that they were like mocking them, like laughing in their faces because
They're
black
picking their
people did
bones
get
clean.
eat. So did get ate.
Oh,
I don't know. So like when I saw that in the movie, I was like, there's no way. I was like, let somebody come up on my doorstep and start singing that song to me. No.
right. Yeah, see, and my interpretation of it was they're picking, like pickpocketing this person clean, either literally or metaphorically, like in manipulation kind of way. So I was taking it as the other dark route of just manipulation or someone stealing from someone else.
Yeah.
But both definitely dark takes on a seemingly very upbeat kind of song.
Yeah.
Have you always been a fan of Ryan Coogler before this movie?
I haven't seen any of his movies before this movie. Although
What?
after I watched this movie, I watched I forgot what the movie's called, but the one about like Rocky, not Rocky.
Oh,
Um
was it Apollo?
no, the movies that Michael B. Jordan was in where he fought like he was a wrestler or boxer or whatever.
Yeah, he plays as Apollo in the Rocky universe, Apollo Creed's
Oh,
son.
is that Creed? Yes, the
Yeah,
Creed
oh, there we
movies.
go. Creed. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the Creed movies are really good, like super good. And I kicked myself for not watching them, but I finally watched them and they were good.
Yeah, and him and Michael B. Jordan, he just gets Michael B. Jordan's greatest performances because he even did Black Panther, and I guess you haven't seen that one yet, but Michael B. Jordan's character in that movie is very, very good because he definitely draws a certain emotion out of you, and I think when an actor can do that, even when an actor does a great job, like, are you a bit into Harry Potter?
No,
No? Okay. Well, I'm just even when you have like the rage of someone like Carol Baskins, if an actor can pull that out of me, I think that is like a standing ovation to me to them because to get garner that kind of hate means you have to be doing such a good job at being a despicable or evil, vile character.
right.
And I didn't really I didn't really feel that with this villain in this movie. Did I felt he was very like manipulative, but it kind of seemed like he had a greater intention in mind. What do you think he was like truly a misunderstood villain, or do you think his ideology was just going to be the same as everyone else, just complete power and dominance?
I feel like he's a villain that's likable. Like if he, I don't know, ended up getting like a daylight ring and he was able to be out in the sun, I feel like he would be able to like blend right into society. And but on the other hand, like I do feel his whole thing about like, oh, like I'll save you from the pain that you're in or whatever. Like not everyone needs saving. Some people are
Right.
just chill with being like living their life or whatever. So I don't really know what gave him the complex to be like, oh, I'll save you from what you're going through because not everyone wants to. be saved from their situation, and he was just out here like killing people just because he wanted. So that part I don't like, but he wasn't like a terrible like, oh, I hate black people or whatever that they made him seem like. I mean, I'm sure he was a great person before he was turned, but um I don't feel like it was his right to just kill everybody because he thought that they needed saving either.
Right. Yeah, it's that justification of, oh, I know what's better for you, so here, let me give it to you without you asking.
Right. And that was like a lot of people that were just living their life and they all like and on that night, like they all had a great time. Like they forgot about everything that they were going through. Like even I really need to know her name, but even the person who was played by Haley Seinfeld,
Oh, let me look her up.
um she maybe that would be the only person that I'd be like, okay, yeah, she probably wants to be a vampire. But everyone else was fine. Like even um I don't know why I'm forgetting all these names.
It's all good.
Um the one who was with her, like having sex with her or whatever, um, he he definitely didn't want to be turned. He was chill. Like he just opened his juke joint,
Mary, her name's Mary.
Mary.
Wow, I didn't know her name was Mary. That seems so simple.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, no, for reals. His death was, or his turning was kind of tragic because then his other brother like breaks in and sees him just gasping for his last breath.
yeah, and he's so scared. Like he keeps saying, like, I'm scared, I'm scared. Like that's terrible. You're just gonna turn these people just because, like, for what? And like there wasn't any greater good for it. Like when you see like Vampire Diaries or whatever, like they actually enjoy their life outside of whatever crazy stuff they got going on. But in this movie, there's no like, oh, it's so great on the other side. It's just they're all puppets to this man who they're controlled by now because he turned them. So there's nothing really like great about being a vampire in this movie. There's other vampire realms where there's something beneficial to it other than not dying. But
Mhm.
um in this movie there's no like greater other side.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is very much so like when someone gets turned into a vampire, they become hive-minded. Do you think there's any aspect of them free will left over, or do you think it's all just an extension of him?
I think it's all an extension, at least from what we saw. There might like if he ever did a second movie, he said that he wasn't going to, but if he ever did, I feel like it would be more expansive on what the whole purpose of being a vampire was. But from what we could see, there was nothing unique about them from like vampire to vampire. The only difference was like how they tried to turn another person. Like Bo was like different than Stack was trying to get Sammy out or whatever. Like it was their approach was different from each other, but I didn't see any other difference between each other.
Right, and that's what I was wondering as well, because in the end you see obviously he's Stack again, but as a vampire. But I think after the initial vampire is killed, that hive is completely like obliterated, and you get your personality back, and then you get the purpose of like being a vampire.
Hmm.
So that was interesting to see because I know one scene did raise that question for me. It was the scene where they bit the other brother's girlfriend, and before she turned, the brother fulfilled his promise to her and staked her through the heart. And you see the other brother and Mary cry like in anguish. And in that moment for me, I was like, whoa, is that them crying because they know now this woman can never be saved and she's permanently dead? So that was the only rebuttal I had against the ideology that they're all like hive mind. But maybe that moment was just too so powerful that it created that kind of breakage in that hive mindset.
Yeah, I think their memories are still their memories, so like of course they're going to be upset, but I also like I don't know, another part about that scene that kind of got me was they were talking about like that wasn't the plan or some whatever they said. I was like, what plan? But there wasn't anything that was discussed. So I also like there's some things that were off camera that we didn't see, I guess, and we didn't really get an explanation. So maybe like what the purpose of them being a vampire was also just not really important enough for us to know.
Yeah. And that was there were a couple questions that I was wondering after this movie, and like you said, he Coogler said he wouldn't do a second movie, but it would be cool to understand this vampire character and where he came from, because I believe they said he came from Ireland. He came like on a ship and completely killed all the ship members and then was chased away by the Native Americans there, and that's where we first meet him. But I would like to see that in a film because definitely the actor who played that character was someone that I was not familiar with, and he I mean, it's hard to steal the show. I don't think he did steal the show because Michael B. Jordan is over there playing two roles with different personalities, but are still like linked by the same person. It's
Mhm.
wild. So I thought he did a good job as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you have any we're getting ready to wrap up here, but did you have any favorite quotes in this movie?
When that guy was like, "Are you guys twins or
Oh my gosh, how did I
something?"
know
He's
you
like,
were gonna
"No,
say
we
that?
cousins."
No,
That
we're
was
cousins.
every single time I watch it, Jonathan laughs every single time at that part.
Yo, brothers, because they're very clearly brothers, and then he's just messing with them at that point. No, we're cousins.
Yeah, that was funny. And when they say Sammy, I quote that probably like two or three times a week. I just if someone says their name is Sam or like something pops up on TV and their name is Sam or whatever, Jonathan's like, "Oh, here we go," because
Mm.
I'm gonna say Sammy like every single time. And then I feel like there was like a third one. Oh, I bet that bullet will be you there. When he's like, "Where are you going?" I bet that bullet will be you there. That one, that's funny too.
What was that one from?
When they were breaking into his truck and he was like trying to get away.
Oh, oh yeah, and then the dude just shoots the other guy in the street in the knee. That was brutal.
Yeah, that part was funny.
After that, I was like, okay, cool. We're gonna get a very violent movie here. Because
Hmm.
when you have like gangsters that aren't even afraid to commit crimes in front of the public and audience in the brightness of day, that's when you know you're
Hmm.
gonna get a crazy movie.
Yeah.
How did you feel the soundtrack helped you feel during this movie experience?
Oh man, I don't know. It gave me chills. I know that. Like my hair on my arms were standing up almost the whole time that they were going because it was such a like, oof, I don't know. It was nice. Like it was chill. It like amped me up. I feel like
Hmm.
it was very good. Like the soundtrack for this movie was one of the best movie soundtracks I've heard.
Hmm.
Um, the the two songs that really got me were when he was in the juke joint when Sammy was singing for everybody and that like whole thing of the different generations and stuff, and then the Pale Pale Moon because it coordinated with them like kicking that guy and all the other things that it coordinated with, like they were in unison with that song. So that was pretty cool too.
Hmm. Yeah, it was surprising to see too, because in these movies that I mean, I can't really say that because movie soundtracks have been hitting really well lately. But I just wasn't expecting a solid soundtrack to come from this movie. I was expecting some like glorious cinematography, like sounds, or just those very what am I trying to say? Those like the soundtrack music where there's no lyrics, it's just complete like utter feeling and balance and everything. But there were,
Instrumental.
yeah, there we go, instrumental. I'm like, what the heck is that word? Yeah, the instrumental soundtrack, but there were a lot of non-instrumental soundtracks in this, or songs.
Hmm.
Yeah, there were a lot of songs in this film, so it was very interesting to see. But all right, I got a couple more questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap it up, and that'll be the end of Five Star. If you could get a tattoo of anything from this movie, what would that tattoo be?
Probably like a picture of their grills because that was pretty cool. Like
Hmm.
a mouthpiece or whatever you want to call it, like outline of their teeth or whatever. Probably because I have this like little area on my arm that needs to be filled to complete my sleeve. So
Hmm.
probably something like that would be really cool.
Like the teeth as like the vampire teeth?
Because
Oh,
they
okay.
had like grills on them, or like part of like I don't know.
Yeah, it
It
was like
wasn't
on the
like
outline of the
normal.
tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was cool because it didn't completely cover the tooth, which most grills do. It just was like around the edge of the tooth.
Mhm.
Okay. And would you get any like text on it or just that symbol?
Probably just that symbol. I mean, most of the tattoos that I have are mainly for myself, and if somebody else recognized it based off of that, I mean, I found my people. So
Hmm. Oh yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention too when you were talking about just the soundtrack and the dancing, it's funny because this vampire is telling them that if they get bitten, they'll finally be free because they are in this world that is full of oppression and segregation. But when you see them all dancing to him singing, they're all dancing in coordination to what he like wants them to dance. So even though that scene like that, they're not dancing how they would dance, how they actually were dancing minutes before when they were in the juke joint. So I thought that was another good take on them losing their personalities completely, yeah, once they get bitten.
yeah, because I mean, a few of them kind of are dancing like they would, but they're more dancing how they would in the church. Like,
Yeah.
um, cornbread, like he was like raising his hands or whatever. I think, I think that's the only person that I saw that I can recall that was dancing how they would like in a church. But other than that, yeah, I agree. Like 100%, they're not dancing how they would.
Hmm. And it just makes that villain a lot more darker. And maybe not even because he doesn't mean to be dark, but just because he, like, once he kills you, you're part of him until he gets killed, and you can have your freedom back. I just
Right.
wonder how that, like, perspective would shift if you were a vampire that survived this night and it just clicked back to you, like, whoa, I'm alive again.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah. So, all right, that is going to be the five-star episode on the movie Sinners. So, before we finish this up, do you have any final thoughts on this movie?
I just wish that he would do a second one.
Mm.
But then there's also like the risk of it not being as good as the first one. Like every other movie that turns into a second movie,
Right.
there's just so many things that are unanswered for a lot of people, and there are things that like if I watch it, some things are answered like as I keep watching it, but I've seen it like I don't know, probably like 10 or 12 times now, and there's still some things that I don't have answered, and it would be really cool, but also it's not my work of art. So I kind of want to like respect that he doesn't want to have a second one, but I really want a second one. So
Right. As
it's
a
iffy,
fan, you really want the second one.
right?
Well, it's interesting too because I think they can do a second one and they can go the wrong direction, which would be the Megan 2.0 direction, where it would just be a continuation of this movie, but it's just the one brother and he's still like a gangster, but he's like a vampire gangster. And I think if they went in that direction, it might not be that great of a film. But if they kept it, like, how do you think if they were to create a sequel, how would like what would their best story be?
Probably all the things that happened off screen that night, like when Smoke and Stack were talking about the plan, because like you don't know what they were talking about, just that he were to leave Sammy alone or whatever, to let him live out his life. But you don't see that part of the discussion. And then that part where um they were talking about like the plan for Annie when she died, when she was supposed to become a vampire. Like there's some conversations that I would like to see. So maybe they would do like a recap or like things that were unseen and then move into Sammy's life and all the times that Stack was near him, but he didn't know that he was near him or something like that. Like that would be cool maybe to see the influence that Stack had on his life outside of being right next to him.
Hmm. Do you think Stack probably had his back in situations?
100%. I do feel like he was watching. Like if somebody told me not to talk to my cousin because I was a vampire or whatever, there's no way that I wouldn't still like be by them, like just not to where they would be able to see me.
Right. Especially if you knew now you had full control over like your bloodlust.
Right.
Because I wonder, it seems like in this movie, because they after the post-credit scene, they're able to talk to their cousin without any sort of issues or anything. It seems like these kind of vampires, it's just more like us, where when we get hungry, we can eat, but we're not. You know how they always portray vampires as they're always eating and never full. Seems like these are more diet conscious vampires. I don't know.
I feel like they don't need to eat until they turn somebody, from what I'm gathering. Like they're not hungry. They wanted to just turn people.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Right.
All right. That is going to be the the five-star episode with honesty. Honesty, before we go, is there anywhere or is there anything you got going on right now or any shout outs or any way you want people to follow you on social media? Or how can
Um,
people like get to know you, I guess?
I mean, I have a TikTok, but I don't really post that much on there. But when I do post, it's kind of like about my life, and I'm gonna start posting more. I can send you the tag if you want, and you can put it in the description.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And that is going to be so I'll put that in the description. You can go follow Honesty on TikTok. Oh, I'm glad we got to talk about this movie because we were talking about this a long time ago, and I think you mentioned you were asking me if I went to go watch it. And I was like, oh heck yeah, I thought it was really good. It definitely was one of those movies I left the theater thinking like, okay, that's a 9, but I can't say it's a 10 because it's not as good as Dark Knight, and that is my baseline for what a 10 is because that's my favorite movie of all time.
Mm.
But after finding out more of this hidden details and more of this like interesting information and just these hidden surprises that Coogler put into this film and the deeper meaning of things, it went up to my favorite horror movie and highest rated horror movie of the year. Even though it's not scary at all, like you said, it is more of a thriller. But one of my favorite horror movies of all time is From Dusk Till Dawn, and this movie has so many similarities. Coogler even stated that it had some influence on his decision making and sometimes scenes in this movie. So I can
Oh,
appreciate that.
I didn't realize that there was influence from that movie. That's cool.
Yeah, he stated From Dusk Till Dawn and The Faculty, which
Oh,
that scene where they were trying to test by drinking or eating the whatever they were had to eat. I forgot what they had to eat. Like a pig.
garlic.
Yeah, garlic. Yeah, and that dude like starts freaking out on it. It's those little subtle things that they showed in The Faculty that makes you think like, "Oh, are they one of them? Are they one of them?"
Huh. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, see, just finding these little like information, these little tidbits made me also think like, wow, that's really cool. Like, because I love when a director directs his heart out, and you can tell Ryan Coogler had a passion for this one. Also, before we go, I'm just going to say too, I don't know if you knew this one. He was inspired to write this story thanks to his uncle, who was a jazz blues player. And his favorite musician was Buddy Guy, who played the adult version of Sammy in the end. So that was actually a famous blues musician. And Ryan Coogler said he thinks that subconsciously he was making this movie for his uncle who had passed away.
Aw, that's so cool though. He did. I'm sure he like did his whole family proud with this movie.
Oh, heck yeah. And even that just happy like happenstance of just thinking like, oh, wait. This is because of my uncle. And then he gets his uncle's favorite like artist to play in his movie. That's Riz. That's Riz, what the kids say.
Right, 100%. It's like This Is Us when Kevin gets to go on a movie with not Rambo, the guy who plays Rambo.
Oh,
Um,
Sylvester Stallone.
yeah, he gets to like star in a movie about him while he's figuring out how he feels about his dad's death like years later. And he gets to star in this movie with him, and it's like a full circle, like helps him come to realization about his feelings with his dad, and also his dad would be so proud of him. So um, it's like a double whammy of like feelings all over the place. So that's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
And I love when these videos and movies and TV shows give you that heart, because when a movie doesn't have heart, there's no hope for it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And you can tell that Ryan Coogler put his heart into this movie, which I'm gonna say is probably a big reason for why it was one of your five-star movies. It's definitely one of the reasons it's one of my five-star movies as well. But as always, thank you, Honesty, for joining us on the podcast for this episode of Five Star.
of
Um,
course.
it was a pleasure to be able to kind of pick your mind about this movie. But that's going to be the end of this episode. But stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be pre-gaming the movie Begonia with Honesty as well. So stay tuned for that one. And as always, thanks for listening. And hey, the movie is starting.